Hey Falcons fans, there was a news story that got a lot of buzz out there recently, and we have a lot to talk about. So be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel to stay informed. Okay, let's talk about a move the Falcons need to make, and fast. It looks like Haason Reddick is on his way out of New York, and honestly, this could be a huge opportunity for Atlanta. You all saw how desperate we are for a pass rusher, right? Well, Reddick could be the answer to our prayers. Here's the deal. The New York Jets, in the usual chaotic fashion, traded for Reddick but refused to give him the long-term contract he's looking for. Now, after a few bad decisions, including trading for Davante Adams while they're under .500, they seem open to moving Reddick. That's where we come in. Falcons GM Terry Fontenot needs to call ASAP and make this deal happen. Our pass rush is in serious trouble. Just look at the numbers. We brought in Matt Judon during the preseason, but he's only had 1 sack in 6 games. That's not going to be enough if we want to keep this season on track. Reddick, on the other hand, is a proven game changer. This is a guy who can get after the quarterback, and let's be honest, our defense could use all the help it can get. With the Jets likely willing to part with Reddick for less than they gave to get him, now is the perfect time for the Falcons to make a move. Look, we traded a 3rd-round pick for Judon, and it hasn't worked out so far. But if we could get Reddick for a similar price, or maybe even less, that would be a huge win for us. The Jets are dealing with their own mess right now, and the Falcons need to make the most of it. We can't sit back while other teams bolster their rosters. So, Falcons fans, what do you think? Should we make a move for Haason Reddick? Could he be the missing piece to finally fix our pass pressure? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Now, we have some injury news that will impact our depth at safety. As you probably know, DeMarco Hellams has been out since suffering an ankle injury in the preseason opener. Well, unfortunately, it looks like we're still a few weeks away from seeing him back on the field. Head coach Raheem Morris gave us the update after the Panthers game, confirming that Hellams is still on short-term IR and won't be back anytime soon. This is definitely a blow because Hellams, a 2023 7th-round pick out of Alabama, was showing promise. Last season, he racked up 40 tackles and even competed for a starting spot over the summer. But as it stands, we'll have to wait a little longer to see him back in action. And to make matters worse, we also lost Micah Abernathy. He stepped in when Hellams went down, but now Abernathy is dealing with a knee injury that could keep him out for a while. This means our depth at safety is getting pretty thin. So where does that leave us? Right now, we have Jesse Bates III, Justin Simmons, and Richie Grant holding down the safety spot. And while that's a solid trio, it's clear that depth is becoming a concern. But Coach Morris doesn't seem too concerned. He's confident that we have versatility with guys like Kevin King and Antonio Hamilton who can step in and play safety if needed. It'll be interesting to see how the defense adjusts in the coming weeks. With the Falcons riding high at 4-2 and riding a 3-game winning streak, we're in a good position, but we need to keep that momentum going without some key players in the secondary. Hopefully Hellams can get back on board soon, but for now, it's all about playing with the pieces we have. What do you guys think? Can the Falcons continue this hot streak even with the injuries piling up? This 2024 Atlanta Falcons team looks different, doesn't it? We're 4-2, leading the division, and 2nd in the entire NFC. But here's the thing, this team isn't just winning. They're dominating the second half of games, and that's something we haven't seen in a long time. In fact, the Falcons have had 3 winning drives this year, each as exciting as the last. But the magic really happens after halftime. Under head coach Raheem Morris, the Falcons have transformed into a second-half team, and the difference is stark compared to previous seasons. This is the kind of cultural shift we've been waiting for. Folks, let's crunch some numbers. In the first half of games, the Falcons have allowed 77 points so far this season, averaging nearly 13 points allowed per game. Not great, right? But here's where it gets exciting. In the second half, they've allowed just 37 total points, which is just over 6 points per game. And in the last 2 second halves, we gave up a total of 9 points. This is a defense that shuts down when it matters most. Think about it. No team has scored more than 11 points against us in the second half this season. That means in those crucial last 2 quarters, no one has scored more than 1 touchdown against the Falcons. That's something we've never seen under previous coaching staffs. Raheem Morris is making the adjustments, and it's showing on the field. Now, we all know that Atlanta has had its share of disappointments in recent years. It's been 7 long years since we last saw playoff football here. But with the way this team is playing, there's real hope that we can end that drought this year. The leadership, the culture, the adjustments, it's all coming together. Could we be looking at a playoff run? Maybe even more? I don't want to jinx it, but this team has what it takes to go far if they keep this up. And speaking of going far, let's talk about this week's matchup against the Seattle Seahawks. The Falcons are currently 2.5-point favorites at home, according to FanDuel Sportsbook, and we're on a 3-game winning streak heading into this one. Now, I know Seattle has given us trouble in the past, But this year feels different. Our offense is starting to click, especially on the ground. Last Sunday, in our 38-20 win over the Carolina Panthers, the Falcons put up 423 yards of total offense. Running backs Tyler and Robinson were unstoppable, combining for 200 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns. Seattle's defense, they've allowed 868 rushing yards in 6 games and are giving up an average of 5 yards per carry. That plays right into our strengths. If we can keep running the ball, Seattle will have a hard time stopping us. And let's not forget, Seattle is coming off a tough 36-24 loss to the 49ers. They turned the ball over 3 times in that game, and their running game was completely shut down. Geno Smith threw the ball 52 times, which shows how much they fought on the ground. If our defense can maintain that dominance in the second half and force them into similar mistakes, we should be in good shape. So, Falcons fans, how are we feeling about this? Are we about to extend our winning streak to 4 games and take control of the NFC? Okay. Here's the scoop. Atlanta will officially host Super Bowl 62 in 2028 at our very own Mercedes-Benz Stadium. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell made the announcement during the league's owners' meetings right here in Atlanta, and it's safe to say this is a huge win for the city and the Falcons community. Goodell had some amazing things to say about Atlanta, calling it a world-class event destination and praising its hospitality, sports, and entertainment culture. This will be the second time Mercedes-Benz Stadium has hosted a Super Bowl, the first being in 2019 for Super Bowl 53, where the New England Patriots defeated the Los Angeles Rams. Now, our incredible stadium will host a big game again in 2028, just in time to celebrate its 11th year of service. Falcons owner Arthur Blank couldn't be more excited. He called it a tremendous honor for the city of Atlanta and the state of Georgia, thanking everyone involved for making this possible. Blank emphasized that Mercedes-Benz Stadium was built for these types of major sporting events, and now we can prove it once again by hosting the biggest football game in the world. Goodell also took a moment to give Blank a special shout-out, calling him a game-changer and someone who gets things done. He even referred to Blank as a transformational figure in the Atlanta community, saying his commitment to sports and philanthropy is one of the main reasons Atlanta is hosting this Super Bowl. And Falcons fans, this isn't the only big event coming to town. Let's not forget that Atlanta will also host 8 FIFA World Cup matches in 2026. We're becoming the city of choice for major global sporting events, and that's something we can all be proud of. Goodell wrapped things up by saying, "This community deserves it, and let me tell you, we couldn't agree more." With no loose ends and nothing but optimism, the NFL is confident that Atlanta is the perfect place to host Super Bowl 62. So what do you think, Falcons fans? Are you as excited as I am to see the Super Bowl return to our city? Let me know what you think in the comments below. And before you go, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We have a lot more to talk about as this season heats up, and you won't want to miss any of it. Go Falcons!